if you'd like, to call in and ask a question about your credit history, maybe repairing your credit. This could be an opportunity for you to get started on that process. We're certainly going to educate you a bit because we have a guest in the studio right now that I'm pretty excited about. His name is Arnold Bogarty, and he is the founder of Bogarty Financial LLC. And you specialize in credit. It's not an also business for you like it is with a lot of financial experts. Oh yeah, we can help you with your credit. Oh, we'll do this. We can make sure that's working. But here's what we're going to do. With you, this is your focus.
Yes, absolutely.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to the point today that the world of credit and making sure that people have power over their credit is what you have dedicated your life to.
Absolutely, and thanks for having me on as well. Yeah. It's a pleasure. I've been looking forward to this for quite a bit of time. But like I said, my name is Arnold Bogarty, guys. My motto is cash is king, credit is power. But unfortunately, tens of millions of Americans have had that power stripped from them, and we're here to give it back. A little bit about my background, how I came here. I spent 16 years in the military, most of it in Special Forces. If you don't know what Special Forces is, basically I got paid to do bad things to bad people. But unfortunately, when you're in that line of work, sometimes bad things happen to you. And I was injured in Afghanistan. And I always say you have no choice when God's going to send you your blessing. And he sent me my blessing when I was evacuated, because that led to the circumstances where I met a young lady who introduced me into business. A year later, ended up getting out of the military with 16 years in. Moved down here to Tampa, Florida, where I got my MBA in finance and my doctorate in business from USF. I noticed at that time that there were a lot of people that were having trouble having access to capital, and it was because of their credit. It's not that they were bad people at all.
Let me ask you a question, if I can interject here a little bit. What was the time frame that you were starting to notice that?
I was starting to notice it, leading from my MBA.
So 2000...
I'd say 2015, 2016.
Okay. Right, so this is when people are still coming out of the recession, and that's when I was fighting to get out of it too, because I ended up going through, and I'll tell the story, because people can know that it happens to the best of us. I was going through an ugly divorce and custody fight, and this was all coming down around 2009. We lost the house, and then I found out that there were, a lot of money that had been put on an account that my name was on and things like that. Next thing you know, my credit, which had always been pretty good, was horrible. Nobody wanted to talk to me about it, and I had to dig my way out day after day, week after week, month after month. So when you're getting into this and you're learning and you said you went to USF, so you got a master's?
Yes.
And a doctorate?
Yes. And
this is when you realize that people are struggling to get back on track.
Absolutely.
So that falls in perfectly with my timeline. Wish I'd known you then.
Yeah, me too. But you're absolutely right. There are a lot of great people, good people out there that just go through unfortunate situations.
Right.
And then a lot of the time they think it's no hope.
Or think medical. Mm-hmm. Somebody hits you in a car, and all at once you get all these medical bills. Maybe it's because I think that like a third of the people on the road right now, and I'm doing this from memory, so this percentage may not be accurate, but it's close. A third of the people out there don't have insurance. They're uninsured motorists in the state of Florida.
Yeah.
And that's why you have to carry uninsured, or you should be carrying uninsured motorists, so you can cover it. But that may not cover all the expenses that you have. Or maybe you get cancer, or maybe your child gets sick. And those things can put you in a hole fast. Next thing you know, your credit's shot.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And the thing is, you don't have to suffer from that, though.
Right.
The Fair Credit Reporting Act, of 1971 gives all Americans the right to dispute any and all negative items on their credit report for inaccuracies. 80% of credit reports out there have inaccuracies, and it's up to the credit bureaus in order to put the onus on them to investigate. And then if they find inaccuracies, they must remove it from your credit report, even if you owe the debt, all right? If a T is not, if your name is spelled wrong, the address, all right, they must remove it from that digital resume that we call a credit report. I see no reason why people out there should suffer from a bad credit report. I mean, the average person pays anywhere from $250,000 to $1 million over a lifetime if they have less than a 750 credit score. And if you know that if you're educated and you're financially literate on how your credit works, you can get to that point, because I don't know about you guys, but I'd rather have that money in my pocket rather than paying it to financial institutions.
Yeah, no, especially if your credit's bad, you end up getting, and you get a credit card, and maybe you use it for emergencies, maybe you got a medical bill that you had to pay. Next thing you know, if you don't pay it off by the end of the month, now you're getting those fees, which could be upwards of 24, 25%
Absolutely.
on every dollar spent. That's a lot of money that you're giving away. So being able to repair your credit, and like I said, and I told this earlier on the air, I went from having absolutely atrocious credit to getting to, which can impact things like your insurance rates and everything else. I got it up to over 800, so I got a 0% financing officer when I made a luxury purchase of a motorcycle. Just saying, but you can recover. So what are some tips and tricks? What do you like to tell people when they sit down with you? What are some of the first steps you would take to somebody who's in credit despair?
Well, the first tips are just getting educated.
Right.
All right, knowing that there is hope, knowing that your credit can be repaired. And you mentioned, late payments.
Right.
A lot of companies out there will work with you. The thing that I educate my clients on is communication. Communication is key when you're dealing with creditors. If you know that you're going to be late, call them. Let them know, hey, unfortunate circumstances happen. Can you work something out with me? A lot of the times they will, but just letting it go by the wayside and saying, hey, I'm just not going to talk about it, that's how people mess up their credit.
Putting your head in the sand and thinking it's going to go away is one of the worst things you can do. I know, because I did it. So, fantastic. So being educated and then communication will do that as well. You mentioned the credit reporting agencies.
Yes.
Something else, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, one of the things that I find useful, it's Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. Those reports are tremendously useful. If you've never seen one, you're allowed to get one per year from each, right?
Yes, you can get one per year through your bank.
And right, and I suggest that you do it like one every 4 months. So every 4 months you're looking to see if maybe somebody stole your identity, is throwing some on. There's all kinds of reasons to stay informed. But when you mentioned about disputing things that may be wrong, the first time I did it, I found a couple of things on my credit that shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
Disputed them, got them cleaned up, and it was easy to do. Something that I had been afraid of.
Yeah.
So you're right, communication and being aware.
Absolutely. And then, I always suggest to my clients to always check your credit 4 times a year.
Okay.
You want to check your credit 4 times a year because a lot of new things are being put on your credit.
Right.
And so if you can't, it's not like a bank account where you check it every day.
Right.
Because you check it every day, a lot of times you're going to see the same things. But you check it, about every 4 months or before you're going to go make a major purchase.
Okay. Well, what else? If someone comes in and they sit down with you, and what's the average client like? Where is their credit when they come in to see you, or is it just kind of all over the scores?
Well, yeah, the national average is 700. So
Okay.
National average in the United States score is 700, but 59 million have a 599 or below. And so those are quite the people that I see.
Okay.
And we help them right away. You can dispute yourself, all right? The credit agencies, the Fair Credit Reporting Act gives you the right to do that. But I always tell my clients, you can represent yourself in court. You
Right.
can go out there and kill your own food and skin it. You need professionals to go ahead and do that for you because it's consistency that wins. And that's what we provide our customers, the consistency. And also we know the way to dispute to get it off in the fastest, most efficient way possible.
Right, you're investing in to getting to a healthy financial state a lot faster. You'll know the tips and the tricks because
Absolutely.
you've got the education background and the experience in handling these cases every day. Things that if I myself, I could research it and I could do it, and I did a lot of it myself, but it didn't really start to make these great leaps until I got with somebody in the banking world, a friend that would go, all right, here's what we can do. There's another little trick. There are certain elements, and maybe we'll get to that in the next segment, ask what are some of the insider tricks that you can do to help improve your credit. How long do you usually see it take someone? Is there kind of a standard time if they come in with a less than 600 credit score? How long to get it over 700? Do you have an experience?
Well, numbers never lie.
Right.
And I keep track of my numbers. And typically, to get a person to that 740, 750 where underwriting likes you to be, we consider that A1 credit, about typically 4 to 6 months.
Really? Just
Now,
4 to 6 months?
4 to 6 months down. That's if the client does what we ask them to do.
Right.
The thing that I run into sometimes is if you're not used to having good credit and being able to get the things that you want necessarily, then you start getting that 650, 700 score, and instead of letting us continually do our job to get you to that 740, 750, they'll go out and maybe buy a new car. Or they will go out and get a $10,000 credit card they probably couldn't afford.
Right.
And so those are the kind of problems that we run into. But just knowing and seeing the light on our client's face when they can not only provide for themselves, but provide for them family, not only things that they need necessarily, but the things that they want.
Okay,
It's
now,
amazing.
Here we are, and we'll talk more about this after the break because you said 4 to 6 months. I spent well over a year, really probably a couple of years to get there because I was doing mostly on my own and just trying to live clean. Where if I had gone to a professional who could have directed me,
Absolutely.
I could have gotten there a whole lot faster, saved a whole lot more money in the process. So we'll talk more about that when we come back. We have a featured Tampa Bay area business in here today. Really happy to have Bogerty Financial. Real quick, to find you, bogertyfinancial.com. So it's Bogerty, bogertyfinancial.com.
Yes.
And what's your phone number?
The phone number you can reach me at is area code 910-303-6449.
All right, and you can also go to Facebook at Bogerty Financial. You'll be able to look them up there as well, which is a great way to get to know somebody if you're looking and thinking about having some assistance in getting out of that credit hole that you're in. We'll continue to talk with Arnold here in just a little bit. This is Tampa Bay Today. My name is Schreiner. If you have a question and would like it answered, free opportunity to call in, 888-404-1010 on Money Talk 1010. Are you doing well?
Yeah.
You sound great.
Thanks.
I always love it when I get somebody in who's not used to sitting in front of the mic in the studio, and they start off nervous and then they start to relax, because when you have that conversation, if you look at me, it's more like you're talking to me than talking to the world. So you pick that up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, public speaking is a thing that I do quite a bit.
Yeah.
I'm on.
Well, I saw you had that event back in May.
Santa Claus.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah.
He's not kidding.
And I do a couple presentations a week. And typically we have anywhere 75 to 100 people there. And I'm just educating them on, credit, how to build a credit, things our company can do for them.
Those things every couple of weeks. So those are those free to the public?
Free to the public, yeah.
Those are great. Let's make sure we talk about that.
Okay.
We'll drive people to your website and social media so that they can find out the next one. That's how we'll do it. That way maybe you'll get a little traction, see some spike in numbers, that kind of
Okay.
thing.
Yeah, that'd be great.
You have the link for your webinars. You might want to also include that, the link for your webinars.
Okay.
Is that information on the website too?
Yeah, I guess
The
I'll
link for
put
what?
it
Yeah,
on the website,
that's
yeah.
the simpler we give the message. If we give them one location,
One
if
location, yeah.
if we start giving individual links and all that, and they're like, was it dash what? But if it's easy to find your website, then we'll hammer home that message. So what they're walking away with is Bogerty Financial.
Bogerty Financial, yeah, that's where I want to keep it at.
Arnold,
Fantastic.
my son is in Lackland becoming a tech P.
Oh, you know what? I love TACPs. TACPs have saved our lives so many times.
What is up? Okay.
Air Force.
What is the TACP?
Air Force TACP, they're the ones that call in airstrikes. While we're in there. Yeah. And so you have JTECs and then you have TACPs. Yeah. So.
I got into a conversation at midnight at some bar in Dunedin a couple of weekends ago, and it was with a Marine. What was his? He was a corpsman, a Marine corpsman, and a Navy submariner.
Okay.
And that's when I learned that a lot of the education he has medically did not transfer from the military to civilian life, and I was stunned. We are back on Tampa Bay Today. My name is Schreiner. We have an opportunity for you to call in and get a little bit of financial advice in the world of your credit rating. If you're one of those, like at one point I was within the last decade, that is in a situation that you think that you're in, I called it credit despair, because it was like a cloud that was hanging over you all the time, trying to get that credit rating to a point where you could do the things you wanted to in life without having to pay higher percentage rates, to get better rates on your car insurance. The fact that they look at your credit rating and you pay more because you're struggling, it's hard to get out of that hole, and it tends to keep you there, and you start living with that despair. We have Arnold Bogerty in here today of Bogerty Financial. You can go to learn more about him on Facebook. Just look at Bogerty Financial. You can also find him online at bogertyfinancial.com. And I recommend you go there, because we were talking during the break, and you offer seminars where people can come in for free to learn more about it as first steps. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And so my team and I want to just give a shout out to Team Relentless out there. What we do is we do seminars all over the Tampa Bay area,
Right.
and according to St. Pete. Mondays we do a Black Rock over on Del Mabry, Black Rock Bar and Grill.
That's a great
Thursdays,
place.
it is. It's an amazing place, amazing food. Definitely go in there and check that out.
It's where they have the rocks you can cook on.
They have the rocks you can cook on.
Go Keith.
Tuesdays we do it at Bellagio Cinemas.
Okay.
They partnered with us, and so we have their largest cinema, and we do presentations as well. And these are educational,
Right.
but we also do give you the opportunity to go ahead and to partner with us in order to get your credit restored. And then our major ones are Thursday at the Embassy Suites over there on Fowler. It's connected right over to USF. We do it at 7:30 p.m. Typically, we're in there for about an hour, and we get you out of there because I know people have jobs and everything like that. So, but education is key, guys. We want to go ahead and get that credit restored. Just think about the things you're able to do when you can leverage other people's money. I tell our students over at USF, and I educate my clients, and I tell them, I said, listen, a 750 credit score is worth more than $100,000 in your bank account. And sometimes they'll come back at me, but think about what you can leverage, the type of capital you can leverage with a 750 score. $100,000, I mean, that's money, you spend it, it's gone. But being able to leverage the financial institution or financial institutions that we have out there is definitely a little bit more valuable.
Right. I can't express how relieved and what an emotional high it was when I got to the point, because you see these ads all the time, all these great deals if you're looking to buy a car or whatever, and 0% financing, and then you get in there and it's not 0%. You're paying 3.25% or even 5 or 6 or 7% because of a particular situation or your credit history. Well, when you get to the point where you go in and surprise, surprise, oh no, you qualify for 0%. I can't tell. That was like my biggest emotional high last year. I had no idea because I had done everything I thought I could. I went and I got help. Again, I didn't know that you existed at that point in time. And I had somebody help walk me through the steps. And next thing I know, my credit score is over 800, well above that level that you want to get people to. But it took me years to get there because I struggled by myself doing it, trying to figure it out. I didn't know the tricks. One person came in and goes, we'll do this, we'll do this. Boom, it happened very quickly. Like you said, you can take somebody, if they follow your steps in the program and do what they need to do and don't cut, hamstring themselves, they can go from, say, a 600 to get up over 700 to that 740, 750 range, 4 to 6 months maybe.
Absolutely.
That blows my mind that you can grow that fast because I didn't. So,
well, the key.
What would somebody do after? So they come to your seminar, which, by the way, again, I can't stress enough. Go to his website, bogertyfinancial.com.
Yep.
Go learn about him on Facebook, Bogerty Financial, BOGERTY Financial. You go there, you can go in. They don't have to know who you are. Just educate yourself. It's an hour on a Thursday night if you go to the one on Fowler at Embassy Suites. That's not much of an investment to start the process, to learn that it's not as scary and that there are steps you can start taking. So say somebody goes to that, what do they do next?
Well, and then we have the opportunity for them to go ahead and partner up with us.
Right.
Now, once you partner up with us, that's when your process starts. And if you don't mind, when I walk through your listeners through our process.
Please, yeah.
Okay.
Please, definitely.
Our process is pretty simple. Within the first 5 to 7 business days of you partnering or becoming our client, we're going to dispute every negative item on your credit report to all 3 credit bureaus. Now, it does not matter what's on your credit report. It could be tax liens, student loans, medical bills, late payments, foreclosures, bankruptcies. All right, anything that's negatively affected will be disputed. Now, what makes our process a little different than other credit restoration companies is that we involve you. We involve you, the consumer. So what we're going to do is we're going to mail you your dispute letters with your signature block on it. The reason why we do that is because once we mail them to you, you sign them, and then you put them in the pre-addressed envelopes and mail them off. Now the credit bureaus are forced to open up an investigation into every negative item that we disputed. Now, if we went and disputed it on your behalf, it would come back as a frivolous dispute. All right, because it gives the consumer the right to dispute. It does not give third-party companies the right to do that.
Nice.
And so now the credit bureaus have 30 to 45 days to either item verify those items or they must delete it from our client's credit report. And so our clients see significant results in the first 45 to 90 days.
I'll tell you, I didn't dispute everything because I didn't know that. I disputed a couple of things that I didn't think should be there, and they both got taken off, and it was so easy.
Yeah.
And now that I'm hearing you, I wish I had disputed everything. Maybe a few other things would have gotten taken care of. So these are the little tricks that you don't know, and why having an expert who specifies in dealing with credit and credit ratings and history and getting the power back into your hands. I also like the fact, because you said third parties can't frivolous claim, having them involved in it, having them to actually mail it and sign it, it's giving the consumer that's working with you the accountability and the power, and you're going to feel a whole lot better that you were involved, and you're going to learn more. So I think it's fantastic. So after you dispute everything, what would be another step?
Now, here's the thing. Once we dispute, all right, the credit bureaus are going to respond to the customer. Right. They will not respond to Bogerty Financial. Okay. So then it's up to our customers to go ahead, send us back their disputes, all right, the results, and then we go ahead and redispute. But the thing is, I totally believe in education, educating our clients. That way they are not in the same position that they are. Right. So the value that's added with Bogerty Financial is you receive your own personalized portal. All right, you're involved. There's nothing worse than paying someone to do something and you have no idea what they're doing. So we want to keep you involved. So you receive your own personalized portal. It shows your credit score. It shows you exactly what we're doing. but also we have education on there. That way you don't find yourself back in the same situation. It's not enough just to remove the negative items. What we're going to teach you how to do as well is build your credit while we're removing the negative items. Just by removing the negative items, yes, that will get your credit score increased. But now educating you on what to do, how to build your credit at the same time, it's like a two-pronged attack.
Yeah.
And so that will be on the personalized portal. We also provide great value. We're going to provide you with a credit attorney that will answer all of your questions, stop any collection calls. Also, if the credit bureaus do not remove an item that they're supposed to, our credit attorneys will file suit on your behalf. We provide our clients with a will and a trust. Me being prior special forces, I know the value of taking care of your family because you never know if you're going to be there. And so if you don't have a will and a trust and you have a family, that's irresponsible. And you want to make sure that you have those things in place. So we provide you with that as well. Saves you hours sitting down with an attorney, a lot of money. Provide 9 other services because I believe credit is the foundation of a house. You cannot build a healthy financial house on a shaky foundation.
Right.
And so we start with the credit and then we provide you other services to build that house and build it strong.
What are some final thoughts that you might want to share with anybody that is in this position and thinking about taking first steps?
Well, just know that there's hope. Just know that, just because you made mistakes or were not educated on credit growing up like I wasn't, I thought, being in the military was always military approved. I had no idea 17% was bad. I just knew they were going to give me what I asked for and I was going to pay for it. I was uneducated. So just know that there's hope out there. And we're here to provide that hope for you here at Bogerty Financial.
Right, and when you're talking about, I was flipping back and forth in my mind when you were talking about building that strong foundation for a house. You literally mean a house, but you also mean a home.
Yeah.
For your family and taking care of them. And if you're in a situation that that you need to educate yourself, what about your rest of your family? What about your children? What can you learn that you can pass on to them? That's probably one of the greatest things you can do is to keep your children from falling into the same traps. There's nothing to be ashamed of. These are systems that were put into place that we have to unfortunately live by. And there's not a automatic school. It's not like they teach it to you in high school the way they should. We're hearing a lot of people talk about these lifestyle courses that they want to have installed in high school, which I'm a big fan of. Some of it may be bordering along home ec, but some of it should be financial. There are things they just don't teach. So we end up in these traps. The very first credit card I ever got, I ended up behind on. I ended up having that on my credit record because I was a stupid college kid who signed up at a mall at the University of Florida. What did I know?
And they don't come with instruction manuals either.
They don't, because
swipe.
They don't want you to have that because they want you to be 30 days behind because they want to be able to get that percentage. And you're going to help people avoid those traps, get out of the hole, avoid getting into it in the future, and build something special. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Again, tell us how they can contact you, the phone number, the website, Facebook, social media, all of it.
Yeah, you can go ahead to Bogerty Financial. That's www.bogertyfinancial, BOGERTY Financial. And for you listeners out there, I'm going to go ahead and cut my price. And so for you guys who are listening right now, you go to Bogerty Financial, hit Fix My Credit right now. I'm going to go ahead and fix your credit for a half price. So hop on there. You can also find me on Facebook, Bogerty Financial. That is my business page. You can find me on Instagram. Just type in Arnold Bogerty. Follow me because I'm not all about just in here making a sale, guys. Education is key. All right. And I don't believe that education is power. I believe the application of knowledge is power. And so when we're teaching our clients exactly, what it is that they're doing, that way they don't find themselves in that same situation. They appreciate that. Yeah. And I appreciate when I see single mothers or I see, fathers out there trying to provide for their family and in a way that they couldn't, but now because they got a better credit score, now I see them buying homes. I see the joy in their face. I see marriages saved. I see a lot of things, that happens because of what we do, and it just brings me great satisfaction. I have my beautiful wife here with me now in studio, and I tell you, once we got our finances in check, you should see how our marriage just blossomed even more.
Right, because it's not hanging over you. It's not one of those threats. It's not a constant worry. And when you don't have that negativity in your life, everything looks better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. I'm so glad you contacted us to come in today. Thank you so much for being on the show. I'll keep mentioning the website throughout the rest of the show today, but the key thing I think to take away, 2 things. Number 1, there's hope. And number 2, he's offering half off his services. So go to bogertyfinancial.com. What's the link again? What's the click?
Click Fix My Credit.
Fix My Credit.
And just fill it out and you guys are good to go.
Fantastic. Make sure you tell him you heard it from us. Fix My Credit. Arnold Bogerty from Bogerty Financial LLC. Again, that's bogertyfinancial.com. Fantastic,
brother.
man.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
Thank
you.
for
No,
having me on.
listen, the what you're doing and the message that you're giving. Like I said, I saw some of the other stuff on Facebook. I'll send you a friend request here in a little bit. I love what you're doing, and I love the positivity. I love your service and everything else behind you. I love the fact that you went to school here and you're staying here to do all that.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
I
Thanks for
appreciate
coming
you.
in.
I appreciate you for having
We'll
me.
make sure you get that audio this week.
Okay.
And if there's ever anything